Reaching 60 is a milestone worth celebrating. You've got wisdom, experience, and a lifetime of stories under your belt. But here's the hard truth. The habits that carried you this far might actually hold you back now. Think you're ready to sidestep the traps and make these your best years yet? Let's jump right in and explore 8 things you should absolutely avoid after 60, because you deserve to thrive, not just survive. 8 things to avoid after turning 60, essential tips. 1. Don't be a pushover. Let's kick things off with a big one. Don't be a pushover. After 60, you've earned the right to enjoy your time, not spend it bending over backwards for everyone else. Being overly kind and saying yes to every request might feel noble, but it can open the door to people taking advantage of you. Think about it. Your generosity is a gift, not a free-for-all buffet. Without boundaries, you're setting yourself up to be used, and that's the last thing you need in your golden years. Take Peter, for example. He's a retired guy who spent his days helping everyone, fixing a neighbor's fence, lending cash to a cousin, even driving a friend across town for errands. Sounds sweet, right? Until he realized his kindness painted a target on his back. One day, he came home to find his garage ransacked. Turns out someone he'd helped had been scoping him out. It's a tough lesson. Being too nice can cost you more than you think. Now, I'm not saying lock your heart away or stop being kind. That's not who you are. But after 60, it's time to protect your generosity with some street smarts. Say no when it doesn't feel right. Set limits on how much you give, whether it's time, money, or energy. You've spent decades building a life. Don't let users tear it down. Imagine this. Every no you say to a freeloader is a yes to your own peace. Doesn't that sound worth it? So let's make a pact. Be kind, but be wise. You deserve that balance. 2. Don't fake blind optimism. Next up, don't fake blind optimism. Look, staying positive is great. It keeps you young at heart. But after 60, there's a fine line between optimism and just being naive. Blind trust, especially in family, can leave you wide open to disappointment or worse, betrayal. You might think, oh, they'd never do me wrong. We're blood. But here's the reality. Not everyone has your best interest at heart, even those closest to you. Picture this. You loan your nephew $500 because he swears he'll pay you back. Months go by, no cash, no calls. Or maybe a sibling promises to handle something important, only to flake when you need them most. That rosy, everything will work out mindset, it can backfire. Worse, too much positivity might signal to others that you're an easy mark, someone who won't push back when they cross a line. The fix? Stay sharp. Keep your eyes open and your expectations grounded. It's not about being cynical, it's about being real. Trust people, sure, but verify their actions match their words. After 60, you've got the wisdom to spot red flags. Use it. Think of it like wearing glasses. Optimism looks better when it's clear, not blurry. You'll save yourself heartache and keep your dignity intact. Who wouldn't want that? 3. Don't obsess over socializing. All right, let's talk socializing. After 60, it's tempting to fill your days with people. Coffee dates, card games, neighborhood BBQs. But here's the thing. Don't obsess over it. True friends are rare gems, and chasing a packed social calendar can leave you stuck in shallow or even toxic relationships. Your peace is worth more than being everyone's go-to buddy. I get it, retirement hits, and suddenly you've got time to be the life of the party. But quantity doesn't equal quality. Ever had a friend who only calls when they need something? Or one who drains you with negativity? Those aren't connections. They're energy vampires. After 60, you don't have to prove anything to anyone. You've earned the right to pick who gets a seat at your table. Focus on the good ones, the friends who lift you up, who show up without an agenda. Maybe it's just a couple of folks you can laugh with over a beer or share a quiet walk with. That's gold. Ditch the rest. Life's too short for fake smiles and forced small talk. Imagine swapping a noisy crowd for a cozy night with a book or a deep chat with someone real. That's the vibe to chase. Quality over quantity. It's your new mantra. 4. Don't ignore saving money. Let's get practical. Don't ignore saving money. After 60, financial security isn't just nice to have, it's your lifeline. It keeps you independent, covers healthcare, and lets you enjoy life without sweating every bill. One unexpected medical expense can wipe you out if you're not prepared, and trust me, those bills don't care about your good intentions. Think about this. A single hospital stay could cost thousands. Without a cushion, you're at the mercy of loans or leaning on family. Neither feels good. Savings give you options. Maybe it's fixing the roof, taking a dream trip, or just knowing you're covered if the car breaks down. Money isn't everything, but it buys you freedom, and that's priceless after 60. Start small if you have to. Cut back on takeout, stash $50 a month, whatever works. The point is, act now. I know a guy, Jim, who thought Social Security would be enough. Then his knee gave out and the surgery costs hit hard. He's scrambling now, wishing he'd saved more. Don't be Jim. Build that nest egg. It's not about being rich, it's about being ready. You've worked hard your whole life. Let your money work for you now. 5. Don't take your health for granted. Health's up next, and it's huge. Don't take it for granted. After 60, health trumps wealth every single time. You can have all the money in the world, but if your body's falling apart, what's the point? It's your foundation for thriving, not just surviving in these years. Here's the deal. Those little habits you ignored in your 40s, they catch up. Skipping exercise, eating junk, stressing out. It all adds up. But the good news? It's not too late to turn it around. Start moving. Walk the dog, stretch in the morning, whatever gets you going. Eat better, more veggies, less processed stuff. And keep your mind sharp with positivity. Read, meditate, laugh. I knew a lady, Mary, who ignored her health until a scare woke her up. Now she's 65, hiking with her grandkids, feeling better than ever. That could be you. Prioritize yourself. It's not selfish, it's smart. Your body's carried you this far, give it some love back. You'll thank yourself when you're still kicking it at 70. 6. Don't lose your cool with family. Family time. Don't lose your cool over it. After 60, you're probably seeing more of your kids, spouse, or siblings, and that's great, until it's not. Constant frustration can fracture those ties, and who wants that? Patience and empathy are your secret weapons here. Picture this. Your son forgets to call, or your sister nags about something trivial. It's easy to snap, but yelling or stewing just builds walls. You've got the life experience to know better. Use it. Take a breath, hear them out, and respond. Don't react. It's not about being a doormat. It's about keeping the peace so everyone's happier, including you. Try this. Next time you're annoyed, ask yourself, will this matter in a week? Usually, it won't. You've got bigger fish to fry than petty squabbles. Strong family bonds are gold. Don't let temper tantrums tarnish them. You'll feel lighter, and they'll appreciate it too. 7. Don't overstress about grandkids. Grandkids are a joy, but don't overstress about them. After 60, it's tempting to hover, fixing their problems, showering them with stuff. But here's the truth. They've got their own paths. Too much meddling won't help them grow. It might even hold them back. Think about it. You raised your kids, and they turned out fine. Mostly, right? Grandkids need space to figure things out, too. Instead of worrying or throwing cash at them, teach them values, responsibility, kindness, grit. That's a legacy that lasts longer than a trust fund. Share stories. Show them how to budget or just be there to listen. I've seen grandparents burn out trying to save their grandkids from every stumble. Let them fall a little. They'll learn. Your job's to guide, not control. Relax, enjoy them, and trust they'll find their way. You'll sleep better, and they'll thank you later. 8. Don't overvalue blood relatives. Finally, don't overvalue blood relatives. After 60, you might think family ties are everything. But not every relative deserves your trust. Sometimes friends are more loyal than cousins or siblings. DNA doesn't guarantee decency. Ever had a family member betray you? Maybe they gossiped, borrowed money they never repaid, or just ghosted when you needed them. It stings more because they're family. But that's exactly why you can't overvalue them. Focus on people, blood or not, who lift you up. Invest in personal growth, hobbies, and connections that matter. Build your tribe based on trust, not titles. You got the wisdom to see who's real. Use it. Life's too precious for fake loyalty. Surround yourself with the good ones, and you'll shine brighter than ever. Now that we've covered these 8 essential tips to avoid after 60, let's see them in action through Tom's story. A guy who learned the hard way that saying no to the wrong things can mean saying yes to a life that's truly his own. Meet Tom Harper, a 60-year-old retiree from a small town in Ohio. After punching the clock for 35 years at a steel mill, Tom was ready to live it up. Retirement hit, and he dove headfirst into socializing like it was his new full-time job. Coffee meetups at the local diner, golf outings with the guys, backyard barbecues every weekend, you name it, Tom was there, grinning ear to ear. He loved being the fun guy, the one everyone called when they wanted a good time. Finally, he thought, this is what freedom feels like. But a few months in, something started to feel off. The phone would ring, and it'd be his buddy Mike asking for a $50 loan. Just till payday, Tom? You're the best. Or his neighbor Sue, needing a ride to the store because her car broke down again. Then there was his cousin Larry, who dropped by unannounced to vent for hours about his ex-wife, leaving Tom drained and staring at the clock. At first, Tom brushed it off. That's what friends do, right? They lean on you. But the pattern kept repeating. People only showed up when they needed something. Where were they when he just wanted to grab a beer and shoot the breeze? One rainy afternoon, Tom hit his breaking point. He'd spent the day driving a so-called friend to 3 different appointments, only to get a half-hearted thanks as the guy bolted out of the car. Exhausted, Tom sat in his recliner, staring out the window and thought, what am I doing? That's when he decided to flip the script. He traded his packed social schedule for quiet mornings, strong coffee in hand, a good mystery novel on his lap, and the hum of rain as his soundtrack. He stopped saying yes to every favor and started saying yes to himself. Slowly, Tom rebuilt his world. He kept a tight circle. His old high school buddy Dave, who'd split a pizza and talk about life, and his sister Linda, who'd call just to check in. The rest, he let them fade away. For the first time in years, Tom rediscovered his love for solitude, tinkering in his garage, fishing by the lake, or just sitting still with his thoughts. He wasn't lonely. He was free. Lesson learned. More isn't always better. Sometimes stepping back brings the clarity and calm you didn't know you needed. Tom learned that a crowded life doesn't mean a full one. It's the quiet moments and real connections that matter most. I think Tom's story hits home for a lot of us. After 60, it's tempting to cling to old habits like people-pleasing or staying busy. But there's real power in slowing down and choosing what truly matters. What do you think? Have you ever had to rethink your priorities? Like Tom? Turning 60 isn't the finish line. It's the starting gun for a whole new race. But here's the kicker. It's not about running harder. It's about running smarter. These golden years aren't for slowing down in some rocking chair stereotype. They're for figuring out where your energy belongs and making every moment count. That's why avoiding these 8 traps we've talked about is such a game changer. Think about it. Dodging the pushover trap keeps your kindness from being a doormat. Letting go of blind optimism saves you from heartbreak. And cutting the social overload, like Tom did, hands you back your peace. Every tip we've covered is a step toward a richer, more intentional life. Your 60s and beyond can be your best chapter yet, but only if you stop pouring energy into the wrong places. Imagine this. No more stressing over grandkids' every move. No more losing your cool over family drama. And definitely no more overvaluing relatives who don't deserve it. Instead, you're building a life that's calm, secure, and full of what lights you up. Whether that's a morning walk, a fat savings account, or just time to breathe. That's the magic of getting older. You've got the wisdom to know what matters and the freedom to chase it. Your golden years don't just deserve it, they demand it. So take these tips, tweak them to fit your world, and watch how they transform the way you live. You're not just aging, you're leveling up. All right, if these tips hit the spot for you, let's make it official. Smash that thumbs up button right now. It tells me you're loving this content, and it helps this video reach more people who need it. Better yet, share it with someone in your life. Maybe a friend who's turning 60 soon, or a family member who could use a nudge to rethink their habits. I'd love to hear from you too, so drop a comment below. What's one thing you're swearing off after 60? Maybe it's toxic friends, overspending, or worrying too much. Spill the tea. And hey, if you're not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that red button and join the crew. We're all about life hacks, real talk, and making every year your best yet. I've got more coming your way, so stick around. You won't want to miss it. Let's keep this journey going together, because after 60, it's not just about surviving. It's about thriving. See you in the next one.